All right, it's Thursday again, and we have new episodes of Pretty Little Liars, Original Sin, starting with episode 4, The Female Gaze. All right, so this opens with Angela getting fucked with. She gets pinned with a cigarette, or I think it's a cigarette, right?
Yeah, it's like a cigarette.
And then someone takes her in a school, like a teacher or
coach. I think.
So she gets like pinned up for the cigarette at school, right?
Yeah.
So she gets in trouble with her family, and her family's going to play a role in this. I mean, there's no way
100%.
that it's not her dad,
Or a brother.
right, or something like that, right? Because we have a lot of emphasis, and especially in the next episodes, on daddies. So I don't know. Anyway, I found it very odd that the like kind of cliffhanger of episode 3 was pulls up to the cemetery, and we're like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens there. And this episode starts, and it's like 2 weeks later. Like, what? and they're all just like, he shows up, like a killer shows up at a cemetery, and then they just try to get back to life as usual, and they're like, oh, he'll probably leave us alone. Wait, what? You just saw him at the cemetery. What happened there? I want to know. You just drove off, you ran over to him, you ran away, and then you were like, he probably won't come back.
I think it's just supposed to show that he's stalking them, and like everywhere they go,
see him.
they were seeing him. Yeah.
They see him.
I know, you could be stalking somebody and be seen.
Right, but they wouldn't be like, he's not gonna come again. That's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. That they were just like 2 weeks later, like, yeah. And then when he does show back up, one of them's like, he's back. And they're like, oh, I can't believe he came back. It's been 2 weeks.
Like,
it's been 2 weeks.
Where did he go?
If it had been 20 years, then I would be like, yeah, dude, like, wow, he really waited.
He's really back.
Yeah.
Wow.
But 2 weeks? I don't know. That's pretty fucking silly. And I just think it's very lackluster after the end of the third episode. Now, I don't know if they meant to release this the way that they're releasing it. 3, 2, 2, 3. Seems odd. I've never seen that done before with any television show ever. I've never seen them release them in such a weird, random, numerical order. Like, we're gonna release 3 this week, 2 this week, 2 this week, and 3 this week. Like, what is that decision? It's super odd.
Numerology. Maybe there's something.
I would see like 2 episodes a week for 5 weeks, maybe. But 3, then 2, then 2, then 3. Weird. Just weird. So this finale is going to be an interesting one to discuss, because we're not going to get to be like, we're going to watch episode 8, 9, and we're going to be like getting theories. And that's kind of the shitty thing about talking about this like this, is that we're getting the next episode before we get to talk about the other episode.
Yeah, we don't really get to
we don't get to like guess what happened, because then we get it in the next episode.
Yeah. It's not episode by episode. We talk about the last episode of the set, and then what'll happen in the next 2. Yeah. And then, so.
I wonder why they released it like this.
I
I don't understand that. But anyway, let's move on. So there's mention of Trish in the first episode fourth episode.
Yeah.
I don't remember who Trish is or what relevance she has here.
I couldn't remember either.
So we just blanked on that one.
We either blanked on it, or like you had said, it was just some other girl, because this comes up later in episode 5 when doesn't it come up later in episode 5?
I don't know. I'm just looking for a Trish name in my notes from last week, but I don't remember a Trish. She might be there, but I don't remember her, so I think it's just maybe just a throwaway name, and we're putting too much thought into it.
Well, and then which we'll get to in episode 5 at the party, Tyler gets confronted with being like, you're just saying that you had sex with random girls that you didn't actually sleep with.
That's in the next episode, yeah.
Yeah, so I think...
Which is fine. We can jump over the place. Doesn't really matter. It's all one big episode right now, yeah.
You watch both of them,
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know. I don't know who Trish is. Is the end of that.
Yeah, she might get brought up later. This might just be the first time we're hearing of her. If it's not, let us know. Anyway, so the whole Kelly is Karen thing, I'm really undecided at this point. Like, I'm kind of going back and forth. I'm feeling like 100%, then I'm feeling like 0%. And so I guess I'm just back to 50-50 on this because she's been confronted now. And, you know, the Madam, whatever the hell her name is.
The ballet teacher, instructor.
She's like, drop it and this and that. Now, the ballet teacher could be part of Angela's family, right? That could be like Angela's mom or sister. How old is she? Mom.
She would be like older sister if she was, but probably mom.
Yeah. So I could see the ballet teacher being Angela's sister and their or mom. Mom. We'll go with mom. And then
sister mom?
Like Karen is in on it with her, so she's like, drop it and all this stuff and pulling her out of the play and she's like wanting to punish these girls and keep a close eye, right? Like, we're half of the way done with this, right? So we're 5 episodes in. At this point, unless it's gonna be like a Betsy Palmer, Mrs. Voorhees reveal, where you never get to meet the killer until the reveal, I doubt that would happen here. It's possible, but I doubt it. I feel like by 5 episodes in of a 10-episode season, and this is the complete story as far as I'm aware, we have to have met somebody at this point who's like really in on it, right? There's no way that at 5 episodes in we haven't seen a face or there isn't a character that's in there that's part of what's going on.
Yeah, there's probably a ton of red herrings and stuff. I think she's definitely kind of suspicious, the madam. She just feels really... It's hard, because she's got the pretentious, like, ballet instructor vibe, but it feels like, why? Like, this is high school.
It's high school, yeah, sure.
Like, why do you care so much? But also, I guess it's good that you care so much. So she's a little odd. Obviously, Karen and Kelly's father, the police officer, or the sheriff, is suspicious because he's an asshole. But I also think that Wes is suspicious. Like, I keep kind of thinking, especially because he's like this movie and horror fan, that he's kind of screaming it up.
Screaming it up.
So, but I don't know, because again, I think that there's probably a few red herrings for who the actual killer would be, but I agree with you that we've probably met them, or at least seen them, in the episodes that have been released so far.
Ash is just so young. Or Ash. Not Ash.
Wes,
sorry. Wes is just so young.
Know.
And he is named Wes,
he's
right?
Named, exactly.
So if he was to be Billy Loomis or whatever in this, and he's named Wes after Wes Craven, that would be kind of eye-rolly, but I mean, I get it.
Well, but it also kind of like, it works really well with, oh my god, I'm blanking, Tabitha's, like, character,
Tabby Cat.
Kind of like this, you know, because the final girl and everything is something that she is, like, hyper aware of, and I feel like having Wes be like that ghost face kind of killer would put her in the role, especially with how, like, Wes Craven intended Scream to sort of be poking fun at and flipping the slasher genre.
Sure.
Right? So for her to be kind of, I don't know where I'm going with that, really, but...
You're just taking wild stabs in the dark, and that's fine. I mean, that's all we can really do right now.
Really well, but...
The thing that sucks is, as I said, like, we're going to get, like, to episode 8.
Yeah.
And we're going to have it, like, figured out.
Oh,
but, like, 8, 9, and 10 will all be released. So we'll be like watching 8 being like, oh, this is what's going to happen, and we're not going to be able to get to claim that because people are like, yeah, whatever.
Like
you watched it, and then now you're trying to say you figured it out by episode 8, but it is what it is. We're just guessing. We're just guessing. I mean, I don't think there's any like concrete stuff here, but there's definitely good, educated guesses to have.
Yes.
And okay, so the killer is in Imogen's house. Now, in the beginning of episode 5, Angela is coaxed into throwing shit at these people's door, and then they drive off, leaving her behind because they're fucking assholes. And that house, unless I'm mistaken, is Imogen's house
Yes.
but in the past,
Yes.
right? Now, the next episode, obviously a nod to the tagline of Halloween, the night he came home? What is it? The night he came home. That's what I thought. I was like, wait.
The night he comes.
The night he comes. I think I've made that joke too many times. I was like, completely blanked it in my head. I'm like, wait, am I saying this right? Some diehard fucking Halloween fan I am.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, so the night he came home. So with that title, we have this kind of like almost hint of like he's home because he's in that house, not only in this episode, but in the next episode, and he's down in the basement of Imogen's house. She goes up and she throws shit at this door. Now, if this really is her family, why would they be able to talk her into throwing shit at her own door if she lived there? I mean, it's possible.
I think that's possible. And also,
like, haha, that'd be so funny. You threw shit at your own house and then we drive off. And she's like worried someone's going to see her because it's her family. Yeah. I don't know. But she is wearing a Halloween 3 type of mask.
Yes.
Little pumpkin mask. So I thought that was
also,
cute.
when she throws the shit, there's a male voice that says Michael. Okay, I wasn't sure if you caught that.
Oh, yeah.
So I just
absolutely. And then in the very next scene, freaking... what's his goddamn name? No, Noah.
No.
I knew it was an N. Noah name drops Michael Myers.
Oh, yeah.
Like 30 seconds later. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Michael, call the cops. Oh, yeah. And the house looks like the Myers house. And it's called The Night He Comes.
The night
all over you. So, anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Imogen's mom is in a lot of debt. I don't know if that's going to play into this at all. I don't think so. But I feel like we don't throw things in for no reason. But the only reason would be like, hey, I have to sell your house. This is why I'm doing it. So I'm sure that's what it is. But I can see her financial troubles coming into it for some reason. Right?
It's possible.
It's just the reason that she has to throw the party. Right?
Yeah,
just
and
to
this
save
show,
my house.
Like all those things that happen, it's like, oh, they have meaning. Something's like connecting it to the like larger plot, but that's not necessarily true. I do think that it gives the motivation for why the house needs to be sold and why she needs to throw the party, and just sets the stage for the drama, because the show is very teen drama like centric.
Very.
It has tons of horror and a lot of slasher, which I really love.
A lot of slasher elements without the kills.
Elements, yes, it doesn't have the gore and the violence as much.
No.
At all.
No.
But the teen drama is just there. It's the backdrop for everything, which is really common, obviously, in many slasher films. Mm-hmm. But this is, I don't know, it's cool. It's cool how it alternates between the teen drama and that other aspect.
Yeah. So. Tabitha's film opinions in this show, definitely, I mean, they're very realistic for certain groups of people. I know women and men like this, that just have to turn everything into some kind of essay about how this film or this thing is oppressive or sexist or racist or whatever the fuck, and it gets very eye-rolly. But she's like now, age-wise, I don't understand, because Mouse says she's 15 fucking years old in this, and that really threw us for a loop, because we were thinking these girls were 17, 18 fucking years old.
They were.
I think Mouse is just the freshman hanging out with the older girls. That's the only thing I can think of. So it is very possible she's 15 and the other girls are 17, 18, right? They all go to high school together. The ages vary from that to that. So it's possible, but Mouse is 15. Confirmed. She calls herself 15 to her moms. She's not going to fucking lie to her moms about her age. She's 15. So she must be a freshman. Maybe they said it earlier in the show and we missed that she's a freshman, but she is. And I don't think the other girls are. But anyway, whatever age Tabby is, it makes sense. She's that like young film student, this and that. But man, there's just like so many things she says. I'm just like, ugh, you're just the kind of film critic I can't fucking stand.
There's definitely like some of it that I was a little bit like, okay, but I think that that's the beauty of art, right? Everybody has an opinion,
Sure.
and that's totally valid. And I also think that hers is particularly valid because of what she's gone through, her age, and just like that general perspective that she has. It completely makes sense. And I don't like. It's weird. It's like I don't 100% disagree with her, but I also don't 100% agree with her. Because I really like what she does in the episode with taking that new spin on the psycho shower kill scene and having a female killer and the man, the male being seen through the female gaze instead. And I love that. That's like one of the big things in horror that I always want to see explored more as female killers and just flipping the gender roles, because I think that there's a lot that you can do with that. And even if so not to get on a tirade with it, but like she really embodies that, and like a new generation of filmmakers, and especially female voices being like expressed in the horror genre.
Sure,
but
go for it.
I obviously will anyway, but I do think that she's meant to be a little bit of like a know-it-all teen.
Sure.
In a lot of ways.
Right. She's allowed to have her opinion, and I'm allowed to have my opinion of her opinion.
Yes.
And I find just that whole notion that, like, slasher films in general are misogynistic, and films about just abusing women and all that. This is just so unbelievably untrue to me. We've talked about this. I've talked about this on the channel before. Like, if anything, they're more female empowering than anything. And I don't know what fucking movies these guys are watching, but the most brutal deaths in slashers almost always happen to the guys. So I don't know what they're talking about and how many fucking guys survive the movie.
I know, it's
how many?
Final Girl.
How many? Please write me in the comments below and tell me how many fucking guys survive slasher movies and who has the more brutal death in the film. Who gets the freaking spear gun through the dick in Friday the 13th Part 5? It ain't Samantha. I can tell you that, because she don't got no dick. Anyway, all right, moving on. Let's see. So the cops show up, or the cop shows up, Karen, Kelly's dad, and mom still tries to throw her under the bus. Her mom's a total piece of shit. She narcs on her because the killer comes after her and actually speaks.
Yes, which is great.
Which is good. I'm all for it. I've had enough voiceless killers. Yeah, I'm over it. It's not anywhere near as interesting to me anymore. But she calls the hospital on her mom, and I'm assuming either gets her fired and or arrested as well. I would assume both. We don't see what comes of that, though, which is really weird. So this show's very odd with, like, what it gives, right? Like, we have this big moment at the cemetery, and then it's 2 weeks later. She calls the fucking police, the hospital on her mom, and then nothing. She's just at a party having fun later. Like, did her mom go to jail? What happened there? Like, we just dropped that? We're just moving on?
I think we're going to come back to it ultimately. It's such a huge thing to skip over.
It's such a weird thing to skip over.
It is like there's a lot of things happening in the show. And like we've said, like things happen very quickly. It's like they set something up and it happens that episode. They don't really take that much time. So I think that by the next episode, like even in the opening, we'll probably be revisiting, what happened with her mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm in this place right now with this show where I really am just focused on every stupid little thing. I'm looking at the prescription and seeing Caleb Rivers and being like, who's that?
Who's Caleb Rivers?
Who's that? Is he related to Clear Rivers from Final Destination? We got a fucking crossover. Yeah, Farron is very convinced that Kelly is Karen.
I would be too. I totally get
it.
She's like, I'm going to take her locker and I'm going to and then she gets, to train with her. The madam is like, train with her because you've been out on, detention or whatever.
I will say this. My biggest gripe with the show so far, outside of I wish the kills were better, is I don't really love anybody. Right? The only one that I kind of feel some sympathy towards, or like want nothing really bad to happen to outright, is Mouse and Tabitha.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tabitha.
Even
and
though
Mouse
she
are
annoys
like,
me, I don't think she's ever done anything. And honestly, Imogen hasn't done anything either, but she's just...
I don't know.
Yeah, she's
Imogen
just
is
not
like a
likable.
weird one. She's not, and she like really is, I think, supposed to be like the most sympathetic character, like
Yeah.
the teen pregnancy who lost her mom, and like I can't even imagine. Like sometimes when we're watching a show, I just start thinking like I kind of get taken out of it because I feel like she's handling it so well, even though that's just my perspective. Because I feel like if I got pregnant between 15 and 17 and then my mom died and I was like having to deal with like a killer coming after me and all that, like it's so much stress, and then it's just so much. But Tabitha and Mouse are my favorite characters. I also really like Ash. I think Ash is really sweet and I want to get more of him and Mouse together, but we don't ever seem to get a lot of them. It's like these little moments, and then she's leaving him like in the bed while she says she's gonna go get munchies, and then never comes back.
Super weird. Another thing they just completely like gloss over, right? It's just another thing to add to the list of things that are like, she leaves Ash, she never comes back, and then it's just like the next day in the morning and they're all hanging out and he's just gone.
And it's
like did
it's
she ever go up there? Did she ever say bye to him? Did he just get up and leave? Is he still asleep up there?
I know. I wanted the closure. And like I get like she was high and it's a party, so like sure she could have just wandered off, got distracted, all this stuff happened with, Tabitha and Tyler. But then he could have just come down and be like, why'd you leave me? And just like a quick little moment. Or even, like waking up in the morning and he's leaving.
It's not important at all. It just feels a little messy.
It
That's
makes it
all.
feel
Right.
messy.
Yes.
Yes.
So anyway, so in the last episode, in episode 4, I guess we're not even on to 5 yet, but we've talked about it a little bit. So in the 4th episode, there's a lot of alluding to that Tabitha was date raped, drugged, and date raped at a party. And this is implied very heavily when her friend gives her a look after she talks about like a drug drink or whatever, and he's just kind of like, ooh. So he seems to know something.
Yes.
Which makes me wonder if he's the one who did it.
I think so.
Because I don't feel like she's told him.
I don't either.
And I feel like we're supposed to believe that they're friends and he gave her that look because like she told him, but I don't think she has. And if she hasn't, he fucking did it.
No, I told you, I was like, he's sus. I think that...
What are you, Elliot?
I know. He is sus, though. Especially...
My daughter calls everyone and everything sus.
Favorite word. It's so funny.
Yes.
But, the whole, like, psycho scene, right? When she kind of has this panic attack because the other Greg, annoying guy, like takes all his clothes off when she's like, we're gonna have a safe filming space, and she doesn't like it. And Farron and what's her friend's name?
I don't know.
They're both fine with
I
it.
Keep forgetting it.
They're like, it's whatever, we don't care. But she's super uncomfortable, so she leaves. And she's like, I'll take 5. I guess she's gone for longer than 5 minutes, obviously, because when she comes back...
They've shot it all.
They've shot it.
And the scene is 30 minutes long.
It's like a long scene.
That we see. We see it down in the little time bar that she watches the clip of what he shot. It is 3:00.
It's a long scene.
30 minutes on the dot.
And when she brings it up to him later, because she's like upset... I think she explains it perfectly because she's like, the whole point was to have like female, like, in horror, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. And he kind of takes that from her.
Yeah.
And I think that is supposed to be symbolic of something, but maybe not. Again, with the show, it's like, could be looking into it too much, but I don't trust him.
So.
I don't trust him. And I think that he either did date rape her or was at least there and watched it. He either participated in some way or he observed it.
No, because the thing she's looking for on the person, right? She's got a camera. She's filming them. I mean, talk about a fucking violation of people's privacy.
Oh my God,
I mean, she's talking about, getting date raped. That doesn't mean that you get to fucking film a whole bunch of people who are innocent in private situations. Yes. So I get it, though. She's pissed off. She wants proof. And she's looking for a specific mark of some sort to let her know. I am convinced of this 100%. And she's going to find out it's on him. Right? She thinks it's Tyler. She thinks it's Gray. She thinks it's one of these fucking jock boys.
Yeah.
But it's the guy that's been sitting right next to her the whole time, patting her back, and she's like crushing on and all of that.
Yeah.
Which is going to suck because then that just kind of paints another picture of like all men are shit.
Yeah.
Right? Even the good ones are shit. Which is annoying, but it is what it is. Anyway, so we got that's pretty much everything of episode 4. What's left in episode 5 is that Mouse, from what we can tell, I mean, this is what is implied here. At first we thought she was trying to be like To Catch a Predator.
Yeah.
And she was going after a guy who was like killing kids, and she'd figured out who killed this little girl, Rachel. But him opening, being so free with her name and all of that. This is clear that she lost her father for something she did. She blames herself. Now, whether he's dead or he left, because she says he's never coming back, that could mean death. That could mean he doesn't want to see me anymore, right? I think she specifically says he's never coming back, or like they're never coming back, or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
Something like that. So I don't know. Maybe he's dead, maybe he's not. Maybe she feels responsible for his departure, whether it's death or not.
Just survivor's guilt.
And so she now went on the internet. She found parents who've lost their children, and she's asking this guy who misses his daughter to pretend that she's his daughter, and for her to get a father figure and for him to get a daughter, just for the night. I don't know how long they're going to do this or how long they've been doing it. I don't know if I think this might be the first time they've ever met up. I think
felt like that.
Yeah. And then whether or not they'll ever meet up again.
The first photo we saw of them together, because she does have a shoebox full of photographs that she's kept of her dad and then other people.
She adds new dad into it, right?
Yeah.
It would have been interesting if she had like 4 other guys in there.
I know.
Too, of like, she was doing this with other people. But this is just sad. This is just sad as hell. But also, because it's this kind of show, you're like, how is this suspicious?
Oh, it's suspicious. Right? I mean, definitely in the beginning, especially before anything gets explained with that whole interaction, like, you're sitting there thinking that this guy...
Yeah, that she's gonna, like, kill him and...
Or even just, like, that she wants to have a sexual relationship or something. Like, all of that. It was very weird, and then it does just get really sad. But, as you said, it's like, how does this relate to the other parts of the show, and specifically the killer that's going around and, going after the sins of the adults and taking it out on their children?
Yeah, what happened? What did she do that drove her father away, or what did she do to have, some involvement in his death? I don't know.
I don't either.
I got nothing on that one. But it's definitely something that they need to address in some way, because if that's all there is to that, and we're just done with that, that would be like, what,
like,
bro?
It's kind of like, what's even the point, really? Because it doesn't super build her character. Like, you can easily show that she's lost a father or whatever, and like, make that into her character in a totally different way. Like, you don't have to take the time to have her going out and meeting a person who's not her dad, who's asking her to call her dad and is treating her like his daughter. Like, it just is so complex of a way of mourning and grieving that there has to be something deeper to it.
Sure.
I do like too, since we're talking about Mouse, that she pushes back on the really firm parenting that her moms have in place, and not letting her do anything. She kind of gets this initial curfew of 8:30 or something, 8 o'clock, and then she pushes it, gets the 10:30, and ends up staying out all night, which I'm supportive of, because she's very sheltered, and I think it's important for kids, especially when you're a teenager, to have some level of freedom to go out and be a teenager.
You get sheltered when you murder your father.
Well, yes. I mean, if she did, then that would be.
You're not allowed to go
reason
out and kill people anymore, Mouse.
No more killing.
No more killing. Yeah, I don't know. I agree and disagree as far as like it's not character building. It's wildly character building. But if it doesn't amount to anything,
but that's what I'm
then
saying.
it's not character
I'm saying
building,
that you can do the character building in a different way unless you're using that to like further another subplot.
They also
right?
would have to spell it out a little better.
That's
right?
what I mean.
Like they have to be like, oh, I'm doing this because of this, and then that adds that layer to her. But if you're just guessing what it is and then it's never brought up again, it's like, well, what does that have to do with anything?
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that in television shows and movies that Halloween costumes that people rock are way more elaborate and much better than the ones that you actually see in real Halloween, like parties and everywhere you go?
Yeah.
I remember going to like, you see Halloween parties that kids throw, or you go out on Halloween night. Man, these costumes are like, you know what it is they're super, not only are they like very authentic, like the Lydia Dietz you see in this, which I just don't see a kid actually buying like a legit Lydia Dietz costume, but it's also like hyper specific and outside of this generation's, tastes. So it always feels like the writers
100%.
are like, oh, I love Beetlejuice. And I've always wanted to see a girl in a legit Lydia Dietz costume. And the girl they put it in, they're like, the fuck am I wearing? Why is this a red dress?
Yeah, I do think that that's like a good portion of the show so far is that and we talked about this in our last discussion, like all of the horror nods.
Yeah.
It definitely is like the writers coming through
100%.
and it kind of sucks because like I want it to feel really authentic and like really believe like Tabitha, this young girl, is like super into it, but I don't. And I don't know what it is because I think her acting is fine. Like, I don't think she's doing a poor job. I think the writing is fine too. But there's some like disconnect in my brain where
she's never heard of 90% of the movies she's talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
So that's a shame. But it's the same thing with the Halloween costumes where you see all these really cool ones and you're like, they were like,
would I believe that Tabitha, being who she is in this world, would come to the party dressed as an accurate Ripley from Alien? Sure.
That one's believable.
That 100%. I
100%.
believe. But Imogen coming as Rosemary from Rosemary's Baby? No.
Yeah, that was...
I don't buy that at all. She's not the film nut, right? So she's going to come as Rosemary? Like... That's
a cool costume.
I mean, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a go-to as far as that goes. But I just don't see how many high school kids. She is like best friends with Imogen or with Tabitha though.
Yes.
So maybe
it's totally possible.
I'll give it to her on that. But I don't know. But Kelly coming dressed as Annabelle, that is of this generation.
Yes.
So I could definitely see that. I'm fine with that. But any of like the 80s costumes that I was seeing.
Background ones that were,
like kids, I don't know. Kids being like, oh, you dressed as Freddie Mercury.
I don't know.
I'm just like, I don't know. Do you know who the fuck Freddie Mercury is?
Yeah. It's weird. I feel like because like we're watching it and like, Stranger Things is so popular right now. And this like resurgence of like the 80s and 90s is definitely happening. So I do feel like a lot of kids probably will start to be into those 80s and 90s like movies and shows, not ironically, but like because it's trendy and cool right now. So
anyway, we're just being
old.
We're just being old and judging the new generations like a lot of fucking older generations do. Anyway, so the killer has Angela's mask. So from that prank with the shit on the door and all of that. So this person was there and knows of her, indiscretions and problems she had with her friends. So this person has to be older and has to have intimate knowledge of what happened. Angela is dead.
Yes.
I mean, right? She has to be.
Yes.
She has to be dead.
She's definitely not like
95% she's dead.
She's
You never know with shows like
probably
this.
definitely dead.
They could soap opera this shit and be like, oh,
been in a coma.
yeah, something stupid like that.
Telepathically communicating with her brother.
Oh my god, Patrick. You never seen Patrick?
No, I haven't.
No.
I haven't.
Yeah, she's Patrick, or she's Brady Hartsfield from fucking Mr. Mercedes.
No, she's freaking from James Wan's. Wow, I can't believe that.
What, Malignant?
Yeah, I was like so out of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so we spoke about almost everything.
I think so.
We've got the obviously Mr. Sandman plays in here, nod to more Halloween. We get it. And why kill Tyler? This seems like he's going to yeah, sure, I'm glad he's dead, but this seems like he's gonna frame the girls for it, because the last people that were seen around him assaulted him.
Yes.
Right? So a bunch of people witness this guy get assaulted, and then the killer, like, what does the killer care about Tyler? Like, he's going after the sins of the mother, and he's going after these girls. He doesn't give a fuck about Tyler. So to me, he's killing this guy because he wants to frame the girls.
I agree.
Right?
It's a way to get to them.
Yeah. So we'll see that probably in the future, or they'll just drop it and we'll never hear from him again.
Sure, it's just like he's dead.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, he's forgotten Smurf.
Forgotten Smurf.
And at the end of the episode here, we have the guy calling. I don't know if that's the person she tried to contact, and he was like, "Don't contact me again," and hung up.
I don't
sound like a similar voice, but she was like, "You tried to call me at the party." I don't even remember that happening. Her
I
getting the
remember
phone
that.
call.
She got the phone call and was like, "Yeah, it's me. Let me go find somewhere quiet." And then like the call gets disconnected.
That's probably
she
writing
just,
shit down.
Lays her head back against the door and then like doesn't go to find somewhere quiet.
Was it a quick scene?
It was quick.
I was probably writing. It doesn't matter anyway. So he calls. He's like, I know about Angela's family.
Yep.
And your mom's relationship with Angela. So we're going to learn more about that. We'll find out about the family, which will be nice. It seems a little early for that. But, and last but not least, it appears that Imogen and Tabitha were raped at the same party, and that is probably Imogen's daddy, baby daddy, right?
Gosh.
That didn't go well.
No.
That didn't go well. I thought I was going to just lightly toss that up there. Didn't work. That's okay. But yeah, so they got raped at the same party.
Yeah.
Yeah, who the dad is and all of that. I mean, we'll see. I mean, would that guy rape her and...
I don't know if it's the same party because it's October.
She's like, same shit happened to me.
How many months pregnant is she?
She's like pretty ready. And it's October to October?
No.
When was the party?
Yeah, the party was in the summer.
Was in the summer?
It was that summer, so I don't think it was... So I don't think that they were raped at the same party.
Well, she could be...
But she was raped.
Okay, so like...
For sure.
You get out in, what, June?
June, July, August...
September, October. 5 months. She's pretty big.
5 months you'd be that big?
No, she looks 7, 8 months per. She's real big. I guess it could be 5.
I don't know. I took it as she was saying that she was raped too. Like something, she was like, that's something happened to me.
Like, yeah, this is why I'm pregnant, but it wasn't at the same party. That makes sense.
But it could be. We could
no,
find out,
you're probably right. Like, yeah, I got raped too. That's why I'm pregnant. I never told anybody.
Yeah.
Seems like something she would have told her best friend.
Yes, but she didn't.
Yeah, I got that. Anyway, what do you guys think? Where are we at in this show? Who's the killer? Tell us.
Who is it?
Tell us what you know.
It's gonna be
It's gonna be what? Who?
That girl from I Know What You Did Last Summer. I forget her name.
Brienne. Fucking Jew. TJU.
That would be really cool, actually, if she just showed up in this show. I'd be like,
no, it wouldn't.
No, the show's gonna go
wouldn't.
downhill now. Not because she's bad, but because she has bad luck.
She just had bad luck. Well, anyway, let us know what you guys are thinking of these 2 episodes, and we will see you next Thursday. And probably we'll have more confusion.
More confusion.
And worse guesses.
Tune in.
Tune in, please. Why not?
Bye.
What better do you have to do?